What are the main points about Elwin? Who will summarize?
Shall I? Sir, Elwin did not have the...
Sunil?
Yes, sir.
Sunil, you are saying something?
Yes, sir, I am saying
Okay.
about Elwin.
Okay.
So, Elwin did not have a professional anthropologist type of background.
Okay. No, not professional anthropologist. Yes.
So, he was basically a writer. He came as a missionary.
Okay.
He was interested in writing.
Okay.
And he got involved in Gond life. And then he understood their culture and then criticized his prior culture with the Gond culture.
Okay.
And he also wrote about their sexual lives and how vivid they are. He wrote vividly, and everyone got interested in their lives.
Okay. Next. What is his writing style? Sunil?
Fictional. He wrote fictional form.
All fictional or some only fictional?
Not all fictional.
Not all fictional. Okay. Some monographs he wrote. Okay. Fictional, autobiographical, monographs, all kinds of. Okay. But what are the main tribes he worked on? Where are they located?
He worked on Gonds. Moria Gond.
Where are they located? Central India, right?
Central India.
All of them are in Central India. Okay.
So they're not confined to any particular state, right?
No. Jharkhand, Bihar, Odisha. Central, you can say Central India. Okay. Basically, tribes are located in Central India, Northeast, Andaman Nicobar Islands, and some in South. Okay. Of course, some in Himachal Pradesh we'll discuss. But big concentration of tribal belt is in Central India. Okay. Next. So his fieldwork methods.
Basically, got involved in Gond way of life.
Okay.
So all his writings thereafter, he wrote that he would defend the Gond with his pen, something like that. And then he criticized the Christianity and Gandhianism with his in relation to his new Gond life. And he fought for their rights.
Okay. More specifically, field methods. See, let me tell you, I am choosing those dimensions which you may use in the examination. When you are writing on field work, you write about Elwin's field work. Okay, like that. What are his views on tribe? Like that. So what are the important dimensions? So on those important dimensions, I am covering the thinker, apart from giving the general outline. So field work, did he go and stay at one place for years together?
No, weeks.
Okay, he stayed at one place. Some tribes he worked like that, Gonds, but others he used to go and spend weeks and come back, make notes, go again and again. So for years he would work. For years he would work. making visits on a weekly basis with translators and without translators. And he said there is something that he wants to see. What is that? He wants to feel the culture. He wants to feel the essence and then write about it. Not simply ask questions and interviews. Okay. About his field work. Okay. Now, Sunil, tell me, do you like that person? Or you found him very crazy?
Kind of crazy, but then I found that yeah, he might have related better. So
He
it's
might
good.
have related.
Better with Gonds, and that's why he took
That
that
is
step.
true. He related better with Gonds, but how about you? Are you related to him? Did you feel related?
Kind of.
Like, what did you like in him?
I like that how he went beyond his all dimensions. I mean,
Exactly. You know, Ramchandra Guha wrote one book exclusively on Elwin. Okay. He thinks Elwin is maybe one of the greatest or the brightest. Okay. But essentially, he was impressed by Elwin's thinking, unusualness, boldness, and the ability to shift from one to another. He had so many avatars, right, in one life. As missionary, as an activist, as a god, two marriages, and all kinds of things. Okay. So, very unconventional. He didn't belong to any particular mold. Exploring. Finally, what is it that he didn't like in Christianity and Gandhism?
asceticism.
Asceticism. Asceticism, vegetarianism, abstinence. Okay. This is beyond cultural relativism. Okay. Because he began to genuinely appreciate tribal culture. And he thought the civilization should change in that direction. Not that everything of them was right, but he felt that there are certain things which are superior. And definitely they should not be judged on the basis of Christian ideals. Isn't it? Or you think he forgot why he became missionary and he forgot why he came to India? Should one be judged like that? Hmm? Or should one revise the goals of life at any stage in life? What do you say, Sunil?
Uh, we should revise it definitely.
We should revise. So if you have some better ideas at the end of this course, you should pursue those ideas. You can't say I joined this course to prepare for this exam. And my parents told me to do this. It is they who paid the fees. So I cannot misuse. Isn't it so?
Right.
Thank you. So you should always be open to life. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Elwin was open. So what do you say about M.N. Srinivas' judgment on Elwin? M.N. Srinivas' idea of three births.
Since he could
What
not,
is supposed to be third birth according to M.N. Srinivas?
after his field study, he should go back to his academia.
Okay. Why did he think that would be third birth and third birth is needed?
So that he can tell or publish his understanding about the society wherever he has studied.
I mean,
And
why did he, what is the importance of that according to M.N. Srinivas?
so that others know about
What is
it.
the assumption that M.N. Srinivas is making in saying that an anthropologist should have three births?
He believes that ultimately the source of anthropology should be the academia, and that's where he should come back and give his
Wow,
learning.
very good answer. Very good answer. But why should, according to M.N. Srinivas, why should academics be finally the source of anthropology? Why? What is the superiority about academics?
Maybe because anthropologists get to understand from various societies in the academia, whereas if he doesn't, then he would be limited to his study.
Gond life.
Yeah.
So academic study is supposed to be objective and universal. It is supposed to be objective, universal. It can't be Gond's way of looking at the world. Like it cannot be Western way of looking at Gond's life. So he should be free from the influence of the culture he studied. That is M.N. Srinivas' idea. Which means he believes in objectivity. But what would a postmodernist say? Would he agree with M.N. Srinivas' third birth?
No, sir.
He will say that is again another life, that is your own culture. That is a culture of anthropologists, thinking that they are objective. That is one of their beliefs. They have their own beliefs. So if you think anthropology also is just nothing but a culture, universities have their own culture. They are not ultimate truth. They are not the final truth. Then you may not think an anthropology should have third birth. But Emerson was felt that one should come out of it and look at things objectively. Ultimately, the truth is there. You are too much impressed by Gond's life, but you can't go about judging the world on the basis of Gond's life. You have to be objective. So that is M.S. Srinivas' meaning. Whereas Elwin didn't think so. So do you see he's a genuine seeker of truth, searching for truth, living the way he wanted to live, unconventional. I have a friend by name Subbarazu. He was my classmate in 12th and then BTech. Later he went to IIT, MTech, IIT, PhD. Was very socially conscious, and so many people thought that he would be up to something. And he simply declared, I want to be nothing. And he went to one NGO, and there also he didn't want to be anything. He just led a simple life. I was fascinated by him. So when I read Guha's account of Elwin, I felt Guha also felt similarly. There are people who refuse your life, your society, your culture, all the things that you want to achieve. They will say, get lost. So the people who are in a running mode will be surprised by those people. How are they not running? Why are they not running? When we think this running is so important, what makes them to think that this is not worth it? So there should be such people who should apply brakes on this meaningless movement. Elwin is one such person. Okay. I believe the purpose of anthropology is not to give knowledge so that you help the tribes, but more importantly, what you learn from the tribes that is useful to the contemporary society. That is more important. And Elwin has that spirit. So that is why he became a critic of Christianity, Gandhism. That is the true spirit of anthropology. You should be shocked by what you studied and willing to learn, not looking down the primitive. You should have feelings first. Science can wait. And out of those feelings, your observations also will be different. Your writing also will be different. I didn't include, maybe I should have included. In fact, Elwin wanted to write in a scientific way. He wrote one piece and then sent it to his colleague. Colleague said, please don't do a thing like this. This is all science jargon and be yourself. Then Elwin changed his way of writing. He became himself. Writing about your feelings, impact on you. In an involving way, accepting different interpretations are possible. So in the 2020 question on anthropological methods or writing style, you can include Elwin. How did the writing change? Include Elwin. Elwin represents contemporary writing, a new way of writing. Postmodernist writing. This is what I feel. I'm writing this. And this is the way I would love to express. Okay. Sweta, what are your observations on what we discussed?
Yes, sir.
Did you like Elwin?
Yes, sir.
You felt what kind of a crazy person he is?
Yes, sir. He criticized his own culture where he belonged from and by studying the Gond people.
Okay.
and living with them. And he was also one of the policy makers.
Do you have any friend who has such similar tendencies?
No, sir.
You can only have tendencies, of course.
No, sir, I don't have.
You don't have. Okay. Gayatri, you want to say something? You liked Elwin? Very much.
Yes, sir, very much.
Elwin's life is probably the dream of so many people, but they don't have the courage. That is why they read books like The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. But before that, they want to earn Ferrari. So in that process, the life is lost. But Elwin didn't try to own any Ferrari. That's how he owned life. So Gayatri wanted to say something?
Nothing, sir.
Okay.
Elwin is like this Shekhar Kamala film hero. That's
Yes,
what I felt.
exactly. You are right. Shekhar Kamala's film. In fact, Shekhar Kamala also is partly, he pursued what he liked. Though he may not have gone to any forest. He left a career in US and he did what he wanted to do. Just one. Yeah. You can write. Tell me which tribes will you include? What are all the things that you will say? You know, so many times more than what this question requires. Freedom of views on freedom for the tribals. And what is his theoretical approach?
He followed functionalism.
Functionalism. What kind of functionalism?
Interconnection.
Interconnections. So if you remove one thing, it will affect others. That is part of functionalism of Malinowski. Okay. So which tribes will you quote here? The Baiga. Why should they be free? Because they want to pursue in a particular way. And how about their culture, sex life, cultural life? So why should they retain their life, and why they should need to have their economy, and how others are exploiting, and how that should not be done. That is what Elwin's views on freedom of tribals. M. Vishal, is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
This is how you should link. Not 150-word answer on Elwin, 250 words on Elwin. How can you know only 200 words on Elwin when Elwin is such a big person? Interesting person also. Okay. So link it to the freedom of tribals in terms of autonomy, resource exploitation, culture, and why Elwin believed what he believed. So that was the, okay, that was the question. Elwin's views on freedom for the tribals. Okay, I'll just write here. So in any question like that, try to handle it holistically. What is his general approach? But focusing on what he felt about tribals. Okay. So that is also another way of asking approach to tribes, anthropological approach to tribes. Okay, we are linking many things to the approach. Okay. Is it clear? Any questions? Please memorize the books and names and some quotations. Now Ghurye. Deepika, will you summarize Ghurye?
Ghurye was the father of India, and
Tell me, what is the difference between Elwin and Ghurye?
Ghurye had a preconceived notion.
Okay. Don't you see Ghurye seems to be quite opposite of Elwin?
Contrast, complete contrast.
Isn't it? Completely opposite. Born a Brahmin and remained a Brahmin. Okay, please continue.
Yeah, so became a part of the society and the tribe he was studying, whereas Ghurye remained a Brahmin and
Okay.
he did not believe with Marxist theory,
Okay. What is his approach called?
Indological approach.
Exactly. Indological approach. Indological. Can you tell me what are the main elements of Indological approach?
Sanskritization.
Sanskritization. What does it mean? You mean Sanskrit texts?
Yes, sir.
Sanskrit texts. Study of Sanskrit texts.
Yes.
Okay, next.
He believed caste system was not
No,
domination.
no. I'm asking what are the main elements of Indological approach? Take it as a different question and answer.
So the study is based upon Sanskrit text,
That is one point. Next.
and it takes Hinduism as a as the higher ideology.
Okay. Okay. But more specifically Indological. It is not Ghurye's belief, but in general, what is Indological, which I discussed. Anyway, that Hinduism is taken as a higher ideology. For example, can you say it is a book view?
Yes, sir. It is solely based upon
Books. Book view.
which
And
were
next.
written by Brahmins and
Next.
biased.
Hmm.
So it takes
Can you
whatever.
contrast it with materialist approach?
Sir, I'm not able to get the point.
Okay. For Marxist approach, what is it that the Marxist approach takes and Indological approach doesn't?
Marxist says that casteism classes are because of power and domination, whereas the book approach says that it is to serve the function of a society, that some
Okay.
people are of lower caste and some are of higher caste.
Okay.
So it doesn't talk about power, it talks about roles of people in the society.
No conflict. Fine. Next. But in terms of what factors and what forces are considered? For example, does Indological approach consider economic factors?
It does not consider economic factors.
Okay. No economic factors. And no ecological factors. Okay. No ecology, no economy, no conflict, and no field work. It is about what Sanskritic texts say. And they are seen as the origins of the traditions. An Indological approach is often about tracing the present to the text. Okay, and not examining whether the text was empirically right or it was only written by some people, whether it was ideal of the society at that time or not even the ideal or ideal of only some sections. What was the truth? So Indological approach is about tracing things to the Sanskritic texts. Okay, no economic factors, psychological factors, no conflict. Okay, Ghurye followed that Indological approach. What was the background that made Ghurye to take Indological approach?
Sir, he belonged to the elite class and was Brahmin and had access to the scriptures and holy
He
books.
was trained in Sanskritic tradition, rituals. So that he had in that advantage. So he looked at things that way. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, please continue. That was about Sanskrit and Indology. Okay. His
So,
views on caste.
so
Tell me, where did he differ from Risley?
Risley said that it was due to Aryans and others invasion that caste system had come. Mm, But Ghurye said that they were there to serve a purpose, and according to scriptures, uh,
No. How did caste system spread according to Risley and according to Ghurye?
according to Risley, it spread through migration and the diffusion of culture.
According to Risley.
Uh,
Migration of whom?
Migration of Aryans.
Migration of Aryans. And according to Ghurye?
Ghurye through diffusion of Hindu ideology.
Exactly. So to Risley, caste system spread because Aryans spread. Whereas to Ghurye, caste system spread because ideas spread. So tell me, if Ghurye is right, if Risley is right, Brahmins of Kanyakumari village or town versus Shudras of Kanyakumari. That is one. Brahmins of Kanyakumari versus Brahmins of Hyderabad. So who will be closer? That is putting differently. Brahmins of Kanyakumari, will they be closer to Brahmins of Hyderabad or Sudras of Kanyakumari? If Risley is right.
Brahmins of Hyderabad will be closer to the Aryan race.
No, basically in terms of Brahmins. So Brahmins of Kanyakumari will be closer to Sudras of Kanyakumari or Brahmins of Hyderabad?
Sudras of Kanyakumari.
If Risley is right?
Sir, so what I understood was
Okay, please tell me.
Aryans as Brahmins.
That's true.
So because the African race was down south, mostly down south, so there is less a chance of the one staying down
No,
south.
Risley believed that the caste system spread because of migration of people. So according to Risley, who would be Brahmins in Kanyakumari? Is that the previous people there or the Aryans migrated to that place?
Aryans who migrated.
Migrated. And how about Brahmins in Hyderabad, according to Risley? They would also be Aryans. So what will that mean? So Brahmins of Kanyakumari would be closer to Brahmins of Hyderabad, going by Risley's approach. Because Brahmins are Aryans. But by Ghurye's approach, Brahmins of Kanyakumari may not be Aryans. It is simply some people there became Brahmins because the caste ideology spread there. So they may be closer to Shudras of Kanyakumari. Tell me, are you following the distinction?
Yes, sir.
So is caste spreading through migration of people or diffusion of ideas leads to different conclusions. So Risley believed only racial component, whereas Ghurye believed that race played a role, but caste spread as an ideology. Tell me, to which school, what is this school called culture spreading like this? What is that school called in anthropology?
Diffusionism.
Diffusionism. Under whom, under which diffusionist did Ghurye undertake his training? Reverse. Okay, just remember these things: Ghurye, Sanskritic training, reverse, diffusionism, difference between Risley and reverse, Risley and Ghurye. Okay, so caste as an ideology. Caste as an ideology would be different from caste as migration of Aryans. Okay, is it clear? So that is how things are different. Okay, next.
So the future sociologists and anthropologists, they were students of Ghurye.
Yes.
The good thing was that he did not impose upon his Brahminic
Views. Okay. So anyway, that is my conclusion. But what did you feel? Did you think that I was drawing very sweeping and unfair conclusions? Did you think like that?
I felt they were right, sir.
You mean Ghurye was right, or my conclusions are right?
Conclusions are right.
How do you know? Through the quotations, isn't it?
Yes, sir, they are very Brahminical.
Okay. No, you mean to say, I mean, are you saying because you said I believe it, or you think that I gave enough evidence to think to convince you?
You gave enough evidence, and the scriptures are actually biased because they were written by the Brahmins. So based on that, if he's taking
What
a
is the
bias,
most offensive view of Ghurye?
he is trying to justify the caste system.
Okay, but in which statement he's trying to justify?
I forgot the statement, but that's what I got from.
Okay, but Sweta, you have something to say, and what is to my question, what is the most offensive statement that Ghurye made about caste or on caste system?
So as far as I remember, it was like he said Brahmanism is superior, Hinduism is superior, and he believed in the purity notion.
He believed in, I'm more specific, I use the word superior. Please make distinction between my sentence and his sentence. So I explain, and then suddenly I put his words. So in the examination, when you are quoting, you can't quote me, you quote his words. You can use what I'm saying to understand. So he did not say explicitly, this is a superior, I mean, he may have said it, but at least I didn't put it in quotes. But he said certain things in quotes. For example, don't you think this is offensive that they should be taught to lead more moral living? I found that very offensive. Isn't it?
Tribals.
More moral living, and the characters of epic heroes should be taught. Who is more moral? Who is and they're really dirty. They should learn how to do their work without dirtying themselves. Who is dirtying? Whose dirt they are handling? I found that very offensive. Isn't it so? Where is sociology when if he thinks that they are the pollution is really because they are dirty? Isn't it so? So pollution is a way of domination. Pollution is not really because of the dirt. Of course, people think it is because of the dirt, but if sociologist thinks the way people think, then what is the use of sociology? He should be in a position to think that pollution norms came and why did they come and what is the historical context. If he thinks like anybody that pollution norms came because they are dirty, and then what is the use of that learning? I mean, that's what I thought. Sweta, what do you say? Do you agree or you don't?
Sir, I agree.
Thank you. So we should see that pollution is specific to Hinduism. People are handling dirt at many places in many cultures. There was no notion of pollution. So a sociologist should explain, should understand that this is a cultural phenomena. It is not due to dirt, and why is it? And after all, he knew all the details. He knew about the races. He knew about how these groups were absorbed and how Hinduism got created. And how can he say that? And don't you think taking stand against reservation is too much? Isn't it? Reservations helped. And saying that there should not be any caste-based mobilization and caste-based associations. We know that caste-based associations and mobilization contributed to empowerment. But of course, you know that there are still some Supreme Court judges who think the way Ghurye did. Caste-based association is wrong, caste-based mobilization is wrong, caste-based asking votes is wrong. How can caste-based mobilization be wrong?
Ethic approach, then it can be correct.
This is national unity. This is upper caste view. Caste-based association is wrong. Reservation is wrong. Caste should not be talked about. This encourages casteism. Untouchables are unclean. They should learn how to clean themselves, and they should learn morality. So I found these are very horrible. Okay. So he wrote many books, but only that race and caste is what became popular, not other books. Race and caste in India, that became quite popular, not other books. Many of his views are definitely dismissed in contemporary India. Okay, and then tell me, Sweta, what are his views on tribes? Who are tribes according to Ghurye? Explain in one phrase.
According to him, they are Hindus.
They are
Hindus.
Exactly. But what kind of Hindus they are?
They are less involved.
Less evolved. No, he used a specific word. What was that?
I don't remember. I don't remember it.
Backward Hindus.
Yes, sir, backward Hindus.
Backward Hindus. So any comment on that? Is he right in calling them backward Hindus? What is the problem in calling them backward Hindus?
Like he's trying to justify the caste system, and he's trying to justify the importance or superiority of Hinduism. That everyone is Hindu.
Okay, you are saying, but Hinduism is superior, that is one. But how can one call them as backward Hindus? Is that phrase right? For example, are Christians backward Hindus?
No, sir, I don't think so.
Then if Christians are not backward Hindus, how can you call tribes as backward Hindus?
And he also believed that they should not be isolated.
In that way, Elwin should call Brahmins or backward gods. So, in what sense they are backward Hindus? No, is it a fair description that they are backward Hindus?
No, sir, I don't think so.
Why is it not? Is it because they are not backward, or is it because, first of all, how can you say they are Hindus?
So, according to him, he said that they are not absorbed, they are less absorbed in the society.
That is true.
And
And
because of,
some of them are not absorbed at all.
yes, sir.
Some of them are less absorbed, some of them are not absorbed. So if they are not absorbed, see, for example, what I'm saying is that if you say somebody is a backward Hindu, backward is an adjective. He should first be a Hindu, right? Before he is a forward Hindu or a backward Hindu. So how can you consider a tribe a Hindu first? That is the question.
So he only said that either people are, all the peoples are Hindu, and some are absorbed,
Integrated, and some are not integrated.
less absorbed.
But isn't such a thinking right? Calling everybody a Hindu, that is the issue.
No, sir, it is not right.
So take this question. Elwin Ghurye debate on tribes. So what do you say is central to Elwin Ghurye debate?
So Elwin believed in isolation of tribes and freedom of it.
No, why are you okay, isolation, but did Elwin say we shouldn't help them? Let me tell you, the write-up you got from Nadim Maslin, if you are reading or any material based on that, is not really accurate. Elwin was concerned about tribal problems, and he felt that they should be helped. You can't say Elwin assumed that no intervention, not like that. Okay. So you just write from what you read, what we discussed. What is the basic difference between Elwin and Ghurye? What is the central to the difference from what you understood?
I think it was the fieldwork, extent of fieldwork.
No. The way they looked at
Then the tribes.
answer directly. What is their attitude?
We have
If there is a
something.
tribe, if there is Vishal, if there is a tribe, how would Ghurye look at? How would Elwin look at?
Elwin would look at them as an independent, unique.
Exactly, and
entities.
Ghurye would look at
as Indians themselves, but
why are you using use his own words
as Hindus,
more specific. His words.
Backward Hindus.
Backward Hindus.
Exactly. Ghurye would look at them as backward Hindus, and when you call somebody a backward Hindu, two things: make him a forward Hindu. Whereas independent means, then you think, okay, what should we do? We can't assume, we can't assimilate. Do you see Elwin had a concern? Elwin had respect in certain ways. They are better than us. That is Elwin's approach.
The other day you were telling me that we should learn from Andaman tribes in the context of climate change, that how we should live simply, like that kind of approach. They have lessons to offer to us.
Yes, they have lessons to offer. Elwin had such an approach. So when you think somebody is a backward Hindu, then you want to make him a Hindu, and plus you want to make him a forward. And Ghurye knows who is a forward Hindu himself. So, whereas Elwin doesn't think that they are backward Hindus. They are independent, good in certain ways, and we should learn. So it is basically in this context, I think it gave rise to some wrong impression that Elwin wanted them to be like what they are. It is not like that. People are being exploited and Elwin definitely won't want it. Okay, in the context of exploitation, he suggested there should not be exploitation. I don't think you can attribute the idea that Elwin wanted nothing, no change in the tribal life, not like that. But in the context of assimilation, the idea that they are backward Hindus, Elwin would definitely oppose such a thing. Okay, Elwin was against assimilation. That you can say. And Ghurye was for assimilation. Backward Hindus, imperfectly integrated. Please, whatever I am putting in quotes, memorize them. Memorize them. Whatever is in quotes. And finally, you get marks not only for your understanding, but for the quotations and the books. Whole exam, the game in this examination is that you should look informed. So that is the reason why I gave so many quotations. Through quotations, I am explaining my viewpoint, why you should be convinced of the way I am thinking. That is one. But also, I am giving quotations so that you can use them in the exam. Okay. In fact, my criticism of Ghurye also is somebody's criticism, but the difference between the way I read and others did is that others will say everything and also Brahminical, one point, whereas I focused on it. That is the difference. I focused on it, giving evidence. So what I write has some kind of a unity. Whereas in general, you write a summary and then that man said, this man said, so many points. Okay. So I'm not the first person to say it is a Brahminical view. Many people have said it. Okay. But when you are writing positive things, you say that Ghurye contributed to this. Because he's like a father figure. He guided so many people. He shaped what sociology is today. Okay. So that is about Elwin Ghurye debate. Same thing, you can write, analyze the different views on integration and autonomy of tribes in India. Same thing. Now you will include Ghurye and Elwin. And later you will include many more. Because every anthropologist or sociologist have something to say on this issue of caste and tribe. Okay. Because this is the essence of Indian civilization. There were tribes, they became castes, and how they became, what are the process, and why this absorption stopped, or what is it that should be done about them. This is the source of Indian civilization. And another thing about Indological approach is that it is all about Hinduism. India is equated with Hindu India. There are no Muslims, no Christians. And that Hindu India also is upper caste India. That is a problem with Indological approach. Okay. Okay. So that's it.